up, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. Nina, and how you doing? No, really, how are you? Let me know down below, but I won't waste your time. Let's jump right into this. What is intermittent fasting, and how have I used it to lose over 100 pounds and keep it off now over 16 years? Yeah, that girl is a beast. Talk about some discipline. What's crazy about my story in particular is I didn't even know what I was doing was intermittent fasting. Now, I grew up in the Church of God in Christ, and for anybody that grew up Pentecostal, you know all about the Daniel fast and fasting from time to time, but I didn't know about any strategies for fasting. But for those of us that don't know, it's an eating pattern that cycles through periods of eating and periods of fasting. It's not a diet. I'll say it again, it's not a diet. It considers when you should eat, but is less considerate of what you should eat. But it's become very popular, but it's not for everybody. So make sure that you're checking with your doctor before changing major eating habits so that you don't do any damage to your system. You want to make sure it meets your lifestyle and your needs. So today I'm going to review 4 things with you. Tools that I've used for intermittent fasting, the ways to do it, my workouts when fasting, and a typical day in my eating. That was 4, right? Yeah. And as always, I want to hear from you. Let me know and let us know down below if intermittent fasting has worked for you, and if so, what kind? What are you doing with it? And hell, let us know if it hasn't worked for you. All items and resources that I mentioned can be found down below in the description box. And also make sure that you join my free text community. All you got to do is text me there. It's free of charge. It just keeps you up to date on things that I'm doing, special master classes, gatherings, different things I have going on, as well as when I go live on Amazon, Facebook, Twitter, and other places where I want to invite you. We need you liking and coming over and having a good time. Also, head over to my website, drninaellishervey.com, and join my free 8-day supernatural video program, which will also give you access to my email list, to special discounts and other things that are going on. Now, let's go ahead and get into this. If you're enjoying the content, I would love to hear from you. So make sure you click like, comment, share, and subscribe, and that's how our community grows and flourishes. And many of you all are telling me you're not getting your notifications. YouTube is tripping, so do your good sis a favor. Go ahead and subscribe, click the like button, also turn on those notifications so that you know whenever I upload. So what are some of those ways and tools that work well for intermittent fasting that I found? The first thing I had to learn is that while that fasting protocols and all these things can be simple, they can also be quite confusing. Y'all know I'm one for being educated and having a guide through things. Look, I don't have to learn the hard way. And I've learned well through fasting. I just like to keep stuff simple. I thought I knew everything I needed to know about fasting, but I'm learning a lot about maintaining and building more healthy habits in my day-to-day life through the fasting app. It's a game-changing app with worldwide known intermittent fasting methods. It's like a personal assistant that gives you the easiest ways to do and complete intermittent fasting. And I'm so happy to say that fasting is sponsoring today's video. It contains daily motivation and even guidance. And there's even articles and tips to help keep me on track. The cool thing is that it's created by professional nutritionists. So you're getting a lot of information that helps you to not only get through the fasting process, but to do it eloquently with the best of foods, workouts, and things of that sort. It even includes different dietary needs, including ketogenic, gluten-free, vegan, and more. It even has simple at-home workouts with no equipment. Love it. And get this, there's more than 5,000 recipes. There's even an active online community to share experiences with, bust through those myths, and also get some real motivation. Now, before this wedding, they have really helped me learn so much about keeping my weight in line and ways that streamline that daily. I love the motivation and even the reminders. fasting is currently offering up to 75% off all fasting plans. With my code NINA10, the first 500 people can get an extra 10% off their first subscription. So click my link in the description and start your fasting journey today. Many of us like things our way, so it's great to know that intermittent fasting comes with different ways that you can get it done. So my favorite and the most popular is the 16-8. You literally have 16 hours of not eating and an 8-hour window for eating. So for example, an eating period for me might be 12 to 8, 1 to 9, or 2 to 10. Just depends on my day. Now, the great way to think about it is you're usually going to be asleep most of the time in that 16-hour window. And when you wake up, you just don't have breakfast. So I usually go work out first, do other things in my morning. I can still have tea, coffee, water, but then I get into my eating more of my solids in my 8-hour eating window. Then there's the eat, stop, eat. And this involves fasting for 24 hours once or twice a week. So you might stop at dinner one day and not eat for dinner until the next day. This was never, ever the one for me. But go off if it works for you. I tried it. I sure did. And I ended up turning into the Walking Dead, literally trying to eat anything around me. I was hangry. There's also the 5-2 or the alternate day fasting. On 2 non-consecutive days of the week, a person might consume only 500 to 600 calories in that day or in their eating period. And then they eat normally the other 5 days. This is believed to offset the calories from the other days if you're eating sensibly. And there's also the warrior intermittent fasting. This is eating only 1 meal a day, following the pattern of a 20/4. 20 hours off, 4 hours on. That's another one that had me raging in hunger. So let's go into how I do it and how you might get started with this. And naturally, the 16-8 method is the one that's described as the easiest to maintain. For me, it was something that was easy to slide into because I wanted to start challenging myself to stop eating at times when I wasn't actually hungry, right? So it made me naturally slide into the 16-8 method. I usually start my day off with exercise, so I'm moving around anyway, and I like to do fasted workouts, meaning that I don't like to have stuff on my belly when I'm working out. I don't know how people do that. First off, when you're jumping around, you can hear it. I want to throw up. I don't feel effective, and I don't feel like I can work at my highest potential. Now, for others, that's not always realistic. So watch your body and know what you need to do. I drink water all dang day, usually around a gallon, so I am peeing all the time too, which adds to some fasting as well. I break my fast between 12 and 2 p.m. unless I'm finding that I need a boost in nutrients, like if my head is hurting terribly or if I'm feeling hunger pains. Like if I need to get something in my body, like if it's that time of the month or something else is going on, or if I'm ill, I don't try to fast. And like I said, water, tea, and coffee actually help to get offset in that hunger rage. And it also helps you to feel like you've had just a little bit of something and you're not super deprived. I also take my vitamins and my supplements throughout the day when I'm eating, because a lot of times you have to take those when you're eating. So any medications or things like that, I try to fit it in within that window. Because I don't want to lose any muscle tones, I make sure that I fit in greens and high levels of protein. I need the smoothies, the proteins, and the nutrients because I have a high lifting regimen. I really don't want to lose any muscle mass, and sometimes not eating can cause that for some people. And eating ends for me between the hours of 8 to 10 p.m. On average, I have 15 to 1600 calories per day. About 35% is from fat, about 40% from protein, and 25% is usually carbs. And I've been trying this new thing where between about 5 to 6 p.m. I try to cut back on my carbs. I'm mostly plant-based, high in fiber, low in carbs, and I do allow myself some lean proteins. So what do workouts look for me when it comes to fasting? I said that I like to do fasted workouts, but sometimes that doesn't work out. I do have to go later in the day depending on what's going on that day. So for me, I'm really cognizant of what I'm doing during that time. So cardio is usually something that I do daily. And this ranges in length depending on the day. I rotate anywhere between 25 to 45 minutes daily. I usually choose running, walking on an incline, stair climbing or high intensity training, which is taking the heart rate up and down in order to reach the fat burning zone and to confuse the body a little bit so it doesn't get too used to the same exercises. I suggest trying a lot of different things that you like though. I like tire flipping, throwing the ropes, rope climbing, walking outside, different things that get the heart pumping and the blood pumping. And I also do strength training, and I take this seriously. As we age, okay, strange things happens with our joints, our bones, our muscle tone, all of that. And lifting happens about 3 to 4 times a week for me. I showed y'all a picture of my wonderful trainer, Asia. She's amazing, and she gets your girl right. She's the reason why I got a booty today. But with this one, I rotate in 20 to 30 minutes per lifting session, even when I've already done my cardio sessions. I usually choose things that give resistance to my arms, my legs, my back, chest, and other areas that are key. I usually engage in about 3 to 4 exercises per session and perform each about 3 rounds each. And I do about 12 to 15 times of those, or reps, per time. I love leg presses, squats, stuff that helps enhance my butt. And I also love to work on my triceps and my biceps. So is this even worth your while, and why is it said to work? It works because you're eating in a shorter period of time and consuming your calories in a smaller amount of time. Plus, you're probably eating less because of that smaller period of time, unless you're balling out of control on your calories, in which you might need to recheck your overeating habits. And I do have a lot of videos on that, and I've linked them down below for you all. This should help you get a little bit more back on track with your overeating habits and help you to see a way to reduce those as well. Some research out there even says that it can aid in weight loss, an increase in the human growth hormone, which could increase your muscle gains, as well as your fat loss. Levels of insulin could drop to help your body to use fat as energy, and that's as opposed to all the sugars and carbohydrates. It could also slow aging, increases insulin sensitivity, and because you're eating less over a fewer amount of hours, it could cut down on your meal prep and all of the other stuff that's unnecessary, and all the snacks and things that you don't necessarily have to have. It's kind of practical. So let's get into these meals that I normally have. Now, my meals are not limited to this. I do sometimes have other things, but this is just a typical day in my eating. The first meal I usually break fast with is a smoothie. I make sure to include high fiber and low carbs here. If you have a whole problem getting down a whole bunch of leafy greens and things like that, this is the perfect time to throw those in early in your day. Usually mine consists of a protein powder, a nut butter, my teamy greens or green superfood, frozen spinach, a little frozen berries, cashew and or almond milk as my base, and I am good to go. I also love coffee, so sometimes throughout the day I have a little bit of plain coffee, or I treat myself to an iced coffee depending on what the weather is outside, and I add a little bit of almond milk creamer to that. My second meal is usually a little bit heavier and the heaviest meal of the day, containing a lean protein like salmon, chicken, turkey, or even tofu or some other substitute. I also love to beef it up with vegetables at this time, especially those with higher carbohydrates. So this is usually just a good protein with a side of vegetables. I prepare my lean proteins with minimal olive oil and usually, or sometimes, in the air fryer. I love me a good air fryer. I usually have broccoli, green beans, spinach, and or a nice melody of colorful vegetables. My third meal is usually a lot lighter so that I can wind down a bit. And it's usually something more plant-based or super lean in protein. A salad, vegan chili, or a simple lean protein and vegetables. And a few days a week, I mentioned this to you all in a recent video, I've also started to reverse my meals, so I end up having my smoothie at night. I do that a couple times a week so that I go to bed without having much to digest, right? So even though I don't go to bed right after eating, you can still feel the food on your tummy. So with the smoothie, I don't usually run into that, and I don't feel like I'm going to bed with anything excess in my system. So for my snacks, I have a lot of cool things. I like to eat like a handful of nuts, or I love watermelon. Y'all, watermelon is so good. A high protein, low carbohydrate and sugar Greek yogurt, cottage cheese and peaches. I love tortilla chips, also seaweed snacks, as well as popcorn. I also love my Yay Organics blender bottle, or even my teamy greens or items that just help to give me an extra boost in nutrients. So something like a beet juice, my orange juice, or something like that that gives me just a little bit more nutrients in my day and gives me a healthier way of looking at my drinking habits. I'm also finding it easier to add nuts or beans or things like that to my salads, or to make wraps out of them. Protein powders to my smoothies, and even nut butters to anything I can add it to, like apples or even a piece of bread or a tortilla, whatever it is. So at the end of the day, y'all, this may not be the best solution for everybody, but what is? If you feel good when fasting and find it to be a sustainable way of eating, then Try it and do you. If not, that's okay too. It's just another method that might work well for you. Make sure that you comment, share this video with someone who can use it, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Beautiful brown baby doll. Peace. Just so you know, I did it. I finished the mentorship membership for you guys, and it's now live. Check the links down below to learn more about it, but it is full of courses, expert information, webinars, master classes, and everything with yours truly. So I'm so excited about this. This is my project, my baby, and I would love to share it with you. So make sure you check it out and join today. Check the links in the description for my free new Dr. Nina's Mentorship Facebook group, which is a group of like-minded individuals looking to progress, grow, and support one another along the way. The Now That's Life podcast is about to go into season 2, so I suggest you go ahead and subscribe to the podcast on all your major podcasting platforms. All descriptions and links for that and my free supernatural video course are found below. Thanks so much for all the love and support over on my new website. If you haven't already, go ahead and check it out and join me for new ways to interact with me, giveaways and prizes, weekly emails, as well as my free 8-day supernatural video course, which is free when you sign up.